Hi, friends. This is a Data Guest episode. In this episode, you will hear from someone looking for a match. I'll be asking questions to help them bring out their personality and showcase themselves. You can evaluate whether they're a good fit for you. Here we go. All right. Thank you for joining us today. This episode is a Data Guest episode. So we have Rhys Loring on. Rhys is in the Kansas City area and is currently single. Rhys, would you mind just giving us your elevator pitch about
Yeah,
you and what you're looking for?
sure. So I'm Rhys, like the peanut butter cup, is what I always have to say when I go to Starbucks. And also, fun fact, if they haven't read the podcast description, my name has no E's in it. So see if you can figure that out. It confuses a lot of people. I am not a day over 29, millennial, and I have been divorced for quite a long time, been in and out of relationships, but really looking for something long term. And I've done a lot of work on myself. I work in a space of always wanting to move forward, help others move forward in terms of emotional intelligence and mental health and things like that. And so, certainly looking for someone that has value in that. I'm pretty bubbly, if you couldn't tell already, pretty outgoing, love to make stupid videos. But I feel all the feels. So that's a pro or a con, depending who you are. But I love hard and certainly lead my life with integrity and love. And I've overcome a lot in my life. And I view those as gifts that I can help give other people. Yeah. And so, in terms of what I'm looking for, I really want someone who's health and wellness minded like myself. I spend a lot of time doing physical fitness things. I do CrossFit and I play tennis and I eat really healthy, but I also love pizza and I love Mexican food. So there is always room for some cheat in that. Oh, and I'm also very tall. So I'm 5'10" and would really like someone who's at least my height.
So that is at least in the Boston area can be a big discriminator. A lot of shorter kings here. Um
Yeah.
So, but in the Kansas City area, I'm not sure. Everybody eats their steak out there, right? Right,
Yeah,
mostly.
no, it can be a factor here as well. And I'm not, there's this statistic that 90 something percent of women are competing for 2% of men on dating apps or something. And they have this filter of over 6 feet. And I'm like, I'm just trying to get someone who's my height. That seems only
Yes.
fair. But I know that I sort of it does get challenging. Yeah.
I have two tall sisters. One is 5'9", one is 6 feet,
Oh,
and
yeah.
they were in the same boat. Both
Yep.
found men who are over 6 feet that they're with. So that's okay to you if you find someone who's 5'10", with no heels on. You're the
Yep.
same height. You're good with that.
Yep. Yes. And definitely want someone who shares my values. So I'm not a religious person. I am very spiritual minded. I'm more progressive socially. And a lot of that for me is just from my own lived experience. And we don't have to agree on everything by any means, but on the important stuff, I really want to be on the same page as people.
Do you have any deal breakers that you say no way?
Mm, other than what I already listed. The height and the politics. Um, I would say someone who is a heavy drinker, heavy smoker. Like, that's a no-go for me. I say this sort of tongue in cheek, but it is real. I have learned in my years as a divorced person that I won't date someone who hasn't been divorced for at least a year. And I have learned that the hard way, and gotten really emotionally burned by it. Now, what you do in that year is really important, obviously. But like we talked about in the podcast, there's so much rebuilding that you have to do in your identity. And there's a lot of breaking away that you're still doing to disconnect you from your former spouse. And I have learned that dating someone who is not at least a year peeled away from that, and I mean officially, not just like separated, they haven't had the opportunity to really like build on themselves enough yet. And that ex-spouse becomes the third person in your relationship somehow. So anytime I've made the exception, I have proved my own rule. And so and there are always exceptions, but generally speaking, I would say that's a deal breaker for me.
Yeah. As far as the politics side, so I wanted to dig a little deeper into this, particularly
Sure.
because you're in Kansas City, right? That area. When you talk about it, do you need a progressive man or do you need someone who's like a moderate, someone who can kind of just maybe agree with the majority of what you're thinking? Because you certainly are not someone who is a this is my way or the highway kind of
No.
I don't get that from you. So it's more about like you just don't want somebody who's like the far end of the
Yes.
spectrum.
And I want someone that can, if we do disagree, that we can agree to disagree in a respectful way.
Mhm,
Um, I think my issue with I'm very pro women and I'm very pro women in my content. And so there's all these dudes in like the manosphere that view women as being second class citizens, or make healthcare very difficult for women. Um, I mean, I literally just had a client cancel on me today because she ended up in the ER last night, from excessive bleeding and couldn't get a male doctor to treat her. He tried to discharge her and she was still
mm,
hemorrhaging. And
oh my
so
god.
she had to be her own advocate and call her own doctor and do all these things. And it's like, if m I am not interested to be with a man that doesn't acknowledge that there is still that deficit for women, and I want someone who is also pro women and advocates for that, and so that's really, I think, where my one of my, like, pain points is or deal breaker points is someone
Mhm.
that shares that mindset.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I just wanted to dig deeper into that
Yeah,
because I didn't wanna shrink the pool for you, out there
I know, but
unnecessarily.
yeah, and I think, like I said, we can disagree on certain things, but I think that one is really important to me.
Mhm,
Um, and I think anyone who watches my content knows that already because of the things that I talk about. And the other thing about my content that I think people get confused about maybe is, you know, when I create stuff, it doesn't necessarily mean it was my experience. I am making commentary on what I observe at a macro level and the information that people tell me. It's not necessarily because I think all men are lazy and all men don't show up emotionally and da da da. That's not what I mean. But if men are specifically triggered by that, I have to ask why. Because you could just as easily watch and go, well, that doesn't apply to me and move on. So I don't plan on going away from this space anytime soon about helping people through divorce and talking about difficult topics. So certainly anyone that would be threatened by that by any reason would not be a fit. Also, I don't go on there and talk about my personal relationships. So it's a two-way street of respect, when it comes to that.
great points. And what we talked about for people who hadn't listened to, you when you were on as an expert is
Yeah.
that you actually help a lot of men as well. So
Yes.
it's not like you are a man hater. You said
No.
50% of your clients are men, and a lot of them are maybe like more my age, like 50, Gen X, mostly 40s are your clients now, but that you have a depth and breadth to you, and you
Mhm.
are open-minded about a lot of these components, and you help a lot of people help themselves, so that's great.
Yeah, and I think that, like I said, what it comes down to is are they self-motivated and who do they want to be and who do they want to become, you know? And so that's why I am not a man hater, but my audience is not people, my audience, whether it's my audience online or people looking to date me, it, it's not going to be people that are disinterested in change and progress and momentum forward and evolution. That's just not. that's not who I am. I'm about failing forward and picking yourself back up again and learning from something and moving on in your life. So that's kind of the same thing that I would expect from someone.
And so I was going to ask you about your green flags, and I will in a
Oh,
second.
yeah.
But from what you've said, I'm assessing that one of your green flags is men who do the work.
Yes. Yes, men who do the work. Do you know what is so sexy? A man who goes to therapy. Like, I that's wonderful. I'm all for it. Other green flags, effort. Effort and follow through. I have this rule with online dating. I have a 3-question rule. I will ask 3 meaningful questions to the other person. Not, "How are you? What do you do for work? Where are you from?" 3 meaningful questions like, "What's something that always brings a smile to your face?" Like, that's a meaningful question. I will give them 3 of those, and if all they do is answer and then say, "What about you?" I'm out. Because it has to be reciprocal. They have to be interested to learn as well. And some people are not good at conversations, and so that's why I kind of have that guideline, I guess. But that's one of the things that I coach specifically women on, because a lot of women who are out in the dating scene again after getting divorced are very anxiously attached, and they chase after emotionally unavailable men. And the way that they do that is by stepping into their masculine energy and planning the date and doing all these things. And just because you're a feminist doesn't mean that you don't want chivalry. And so you still want a man who's going to say, "Let's meet for coffee at Roastery on Main Street at 11 o'clock on Saturday." I love a man with a plan. So that's another green flag.
So, and then you also talked about someone who's interested in health and wellness. And
Yeah.
it's not a deal breaker if
And
they're not a
tacos. And
CrossFitter, right?
tacos.
And tacos, that's right. Yeah.
No, not a deal breaker. CrossFit is a cult that I am happily a part of. And I know it's not for everyone, but it would be really cool if you liked to lift weights. So,
Yes. And or play tennis.
yeah, exactly.
What got you into CrossFit?
Mm. So that both CrossFit and tennis were post-divorce hobbies that I acquired. So we talked about filling that identity gap when you get divorced. I had no hobbies when I was married, and that was one of my roles that I negatively contributed to the relationship, is that I didn't have anything outside of just being a wife and a mother, which didn't make me a very well-rounded partner. And so when I first got divorced, I used dating as my main hobby, which was wrong for so many reasons. After several years, and I was like, this isn't actually fulfilling me, making me happy. I kind of just fell into CrossFit. My kids had a birthday party at the gym. And then they gave away like a week of free classes to try out the gym. And then I just started going. And this week it'll be 5 years that I've been going there. And it's really great because, like, I go to the same class every day. We all have our spots where we stand. If someone's standing in our spot, we're like, "Who are you? Why are you at this time?" And, like this morning, I had a question. In one room, I had a pharmacist, a lawyer, a physical therapist, and an MD. And I was like, okay, I literally have asked all of these people questions before. And it's pretty cool to have like that community that, and they're like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. And it's just, it makes it, and when you don't show up, they ask why you haven't been there. So I really, really love that part of the community. And then tennis kind of started after a breakup, post-divorce breakup, again, needing to find some socialization and a space where there were more single people because there were at my gym, it's mostly married people. So started taking tennis clinics, and I have met a ton of single people that way, and men and women, and it's tons of fun.
So this might be a controversial question, but Do you
Okay.
have an opinion on pickleball?
I am not one of those tennis people that's like, pickleball. I love pickleball. It is
All
so
right.
fun. But pickleball is more like ping pong than it is like tennis.
Interesting. Okay.
That's that's my feeling on it. Because there's so much more strategy about hitting the ball softly, like, really quick. Like, if I go play pickleball because I play tennis, like, several times a week, and then on the off chance that I go play pickleball, like, the first game, I'm, like, whacking it because I'm so used to hitting it so hard. But no, I'm not anti-pickleball. I'm not one of those tennis people.
All right. All right. Good to know. That's very good. Is it big? Is it big in that area? Tennis
Yes.
and pickleball, are they big in Kansas City?
Yes. But really, the biggest sport probably, I mean, we have the Chiefs, but, like, when you talk about from, like, youth on up, the biggest sport in Kansas City is soccer.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah. I'm not a soccer player, my kids are. So we're in it, and I love watching it. And we've got a men's team and a women's team here. So, professional.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Very good. Yeah, I think we have a men's and a women's team.
Yeah.
I'm not big into soccer from at the adult level. My
Yeah.
kids all did play for a long period of time.
I another, I guess, elevator pitch moment for me for guys is that I really like watching football. So, I had a boyfriend several years ago that like taught me how to use DraftKings and like I'm into college football, more so NFL, but like something that I love to do with someone is watch football.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I will not put you on the spot too much on this, but
Okay.
did you happen to see that the Chiefs had 2 first round draft picks last night?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, they had 2 first round draft picks. So I'm not sure if they traded in, but they had one early rounds and then they had one later rounds. So
Nice.
I
Well,
hope
the
they,
team was
no
kind of
offense,
falling
but
apart last year.
yeah, yeah, they earned it. They earned that draft pick this time, but
Yeah,
no
they did.
offense, but I hope they don't go anywhere this year. I say
You
that as
and
a New
you and
England
the
fan.
whole rest of the country. Do you know how happy the rest of the country was when the Chiefs just collapsed last year? Oh my gosh. But as a Pats fan, the
Oh yeah.
feeling. Yeah,
Oh yeah. I mean, we were the hated empire for a long time
I
until we
know.
were
And now you
replaced.
pass that baton on to Kansas City. It's amazing.
Yes, yes. Had we won the Super Bowl, we would have been hated again, most likely. But
Yeah, for
uh,
sure.
yeah, I think you still have the mantle for that, for at least for
Yeah.
football. So that's
Yes.
good.
Yes.
So I guess if there's any other uh, elements of someone that you'd be looking for, or someone who might be listening,
Mm,
could you just create that persona for
yes,
us,
for
please?
sure. So, obviously Travis Kelsey. I mean, I'm just kidding. One of the very important elements that I have not brought up yet is that I'm a mother. And I do have 2 boys, that are elementary school age. They have a wonderful father. So I'm not looking for a new father for them, but someone that is willing to be a father figure, and a positive influence in their lives is first and foremost for me, but someone that really values relationship growth. So, as a relationship coach, I don't wanna be coaching someone how to date me. And I want someone that's willing for us to do the work together as maintenance before it's broken. One of the things that I advocate when I'm coaching people in the dating space is doing a once a month relationship check in where you ask 3 questions. What went really well this month? What could have gone better? And what's anything else that's been on your mind? So that creates a space where there's maybe less pressure to bring up things that you've been harboring, and having someone that is excited to do that or do it even when they're not excited to do it, just as a way to maintain strong communication and connection. And then, like I said, overall wellness. I also really need someone who can make me laugh. I mean, that's very cliche, but like I can be a very serious person, and I'm a bit of a chameleon in terms of who I'm around, and I want someone who brings out the light side of me. And also, I'm a crier, like, I just am. So if you don't wanna be with a crier, That's fine, but I am a crier. So
Are we
someone that
talking
is
like commercials or are we talking like movies or
no, just
just
like life,
stories?
just
Okay.
life. I get overwhelmed and I need someone that can calm me down and talk through things with me because that's really how I process it. So if someone is not really in touch with their feelings, that's gonna be not a good fit for me. And I wouldn't be a good fit for them. So I think that's a lot of the maturity that comes with age and having been single a long time and done a lot of work on myself and helped other people in relationships is not only knowing who I am, but knowing who I'm not. And I want to be in a relationship where we can both be our authentic selves, not presenting a version of ourselves that we think that the other person wants to see, because that's not an actual real relationship that has potential to last.
Yeah. Good job creating that persona. Um,
Good luck editing.
so if anyone's listening right now and they're interested in Rhys, what you can do is go to my website, DoneWithDating.co, and click on the button that says apply to date a guest. And then with this podcast, there'll be an episode number and then there'll be Rhys's name. So then just put in the episode and Rhys's name. I would ask that you submit a video or some photos so that she has a feel for who you are. The video is great because you just had 15 to 20 minutes of her and her telling you about her at a deep,
Ah,
intimate level, right? So give her 5 minutes back. Just give her a video back and tell her about yourself. Give her your elevator pitch.
love
And
it.
then what I'll do is I'll compile each response and then send that to her so she can review those. So that's the plan. So Rhys, thank you for coming on, being
Oh, thank
brave
you
to
for
do this.
having me.
Absolutely. All right. Talk soon.
Yes.
Now that you heard from our guests, did you like them? Were they a good fit for you? If so, go to www.donewithdating.co and apply to date them. It's that simple. I'll pass your photos and videos and your application that you submit to the guest for them to evaluate whether you are a good match for them. Maybe they don't fit exactly what you're looking for, but do you have a friend that might be a great fit? Share the podcast. See you again on another episode.